Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Flux Motorsport TV. You're here with your host this evening. I'm Lecky_2000, and you join me this evening for our GT1 Championship. So this is round 1 of Season 2, our 2020 Season 2. And this comes to you live at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. And this comes off the back of our first round of our Tuesday night Touring Car Championship, which was all that action, and from being involved in that one myself, it was great fun, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing where we get to in our GT1 category this season. So, just 10 minutes left in our qualifying session as we join the guys here at Sugo in Japan. Tight, twisted little track this is, especially for these very high-powered vehicles. I was just out with Brucelaw on track currently. So just 10 minutes are left to go in our 20-minute qualifying session. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of the order whilst we join you halfway through qualifying. Linga Bazinga, who you see here in the black and black and rainbow coloured, I suppose it is, livery. Linga Bazinga there currently setting our fastest lap, 1 minute 12. I think that's the fastest lap we've seen so far today. Closely followed by his Dutch counterpart Snarling Bongo. So both these guys joining us fairly recently, fairly new members to Flux Motorsport. And both these guys look like they are chomping at the bit, raring to get going in our GT1 category. So currently in third, who's currently in the pit box, just making the most of his ability to get the tyres tweaked and the settings changed, is Dyson. Dyson again in another black CLK, this time in the Gerstenfelder one. Tibby currently coming up in 5th place again, another Mercedes featuring heavily in this class. Tibby is currently with us in 5th place. Jack, who is one of our marshals, Jack de Mendes, comes in 6th place. And Immortalis, who was one of our front runners for a long time last season, up there with fighting toe-to-toe with Murphy and Brucelaw for most of those races. Immortalis is in 7th place. Again, just mentioned Murphy. Murphy making a switch this time back over to the Toyota, so I think possibly testing a couple of cars pre-season, but he's still testing them out now, and perhaps that testing needs to be done a little bit further as he goes around there into that tight right-hander at the bottom of the hill. Dirk currently in 9th place, and Luke Snipes, and another guy again changing his car livery and car choice for the season. And so Merck switched over from the well-known Porsche that he was famous for and back over to a CLK, again popular choice. Scott's next one, 11th on our grid, so Scott's a new driver in our championship. Scott picking the Panos, which I must admit is probably my personal favourite. Scott currently in 11th. Quiet Man joins us in 12th. Quiet Man set a 1 minute 20 on the grid, so just finishing up our qualifying times at this stage. Just 7 minutes to go left in qualifying. So I'm hoping that 12th to 14th place will come out and set another lap time on grid, but we'll have to watch. And Survivor, who is our best gamer as he's known, joining us for a cameo drive. He's a reserve driver, as we've got one or two drivers absent for the race this evening. As we see him go very, very wide there with a lot of understeer. So back over to Linga. And just stick with Linga just whilst we see me coming through that last corner. We'll see if we can get a little bit of a go on board with Linga Bazinga, see if we can go cockpit mode with him and give you the speedo. Looks very stable, that Mercedes, making light work of that first section. Just a bit of missed apex there on the start. But nice through the chicane section into this right-hand, and it's the second right-hander that really causes the understeer here, so you've got to be careful. Wants to push the car out wide. Nice line though from Linga Bazinga here as he comes down this huge hill. The great big breakage on at the bottom is the bank right-hander. He just makes his way past the spun McLaren there. so won't be wanting to use the brakes there. He almost over rotates there. Okay, so I don't think this is a hot lap for Linger. So, and that's Snelling Bongo over pushing it. So Snelling Bongo just going around there. Which section of the track is he on? Oh, still in sector 1, just after the chicane. So I'll just give you guys a reminder for those who are new to our GT1 Championship. Coming into the GT1s this season, into Season 2, is off the back of last season and our current winner, which was Brucelaw. So Bruce now sitting 3rd with a 1:14, and his lap time starting to come down in that panels now. Certainly Brucelaw looks like he's got a little bit of more of a challenge this season than he had last season, but time will tell. So just as we've got 5 minutes left in qualifying, like I said, we come back off the back of our Touring Car Championship. That was a great watch. If you are looking to get involved in our races, then please come and visit us at FluxMotorsport.com and hit the driver sign up button at the top right hand corner. That'll take you through to our Discord server. Our Discord is where we do all our messaging and chatting and arranging of our races, so that's how you can get involved. If it's just the races that you do want to watch, then please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe and the little bell notification on YouTube so you get notified about all our wonderful videos that we do. So Snelling Bongo just coming up right up to the back there, and essentially just having a couple of words with the driver in the front in the panels then. Sorting out a couple of bits inside the cockpit, so he lets most of the cars go past there. I didn't think it was Scott. Yeah, it was Scott. It was just coming to the toe-to-toe with. So Scott looking like he's picked up a bit of damage, so just still getting to the grips with this car now. But 1:12 looks like it's about all we want to get for qualifying pace. 1:13 is what I'd expect race pace. But as we get in towards the race, this last corner that they are going through now, this tight right-hander uphill, is such a difficult corner to try and get the tyres to behave all through the 45 minutes for this race. And turn 1 there, claiming yet another understeer victim. Scott goes around a little bit. Keep a look at Snelling Bongo now, see if we can try and pull that lap time to Linga Bazinga down from 1:13. He's about a second off, so as he comes up the pit straight now, again not too long of a lap. These 1:12, don't have to wait too long. So this will be his hot lap now. Might still have time for yet another lap if he's quick. And looking at the timing board, I don't think that this is going to be this lap that he makes it in, so potentially I think that's going to leave it for Brucelaw to do, and it's Brucelaw that we see coming just past him now in the silver panels. Bruce sticking with the panels again as he did last season, served him well. A bit of an unconventional choice, as most people tend to go with the Mercedes, but did seem to fend off most of the Mercedes most of the season, and the Toyota even on the long tracks. So a great shout from what is an ugly little car in my opinion, but does have some great legs on it. 0.141, so not that lap time for Bruce. Tibby coming up in 4th now, so Tibby managing to set a quick lap in. Tibby in another silver coloured car, this time it's the Mercedes CLK, and looks like he's got a headlight busted on that, so looks like he's been in the wars. Don't know if he's going to be capable of setting a much better of a lap time than that if he has rocked a little bit of damage there. Yeah, and that's it. Tibby returns to pit. So Leaving it to Dyson. Murphy seems to have picked up a little bit of speed now and managed to gain a couple of paces, put him in front of Jack and Immortalis, and he'll be familiar with what it's like just being in and around those two guys at the moment, coming from last season, fighting toe to toe, and a lot of our closest battles were involving those three guys. So we'll stick on board with Dyson now. Yeah, Dyson, that Gerstner Phelps delivery, you can tell with the luminous earrings that it has on and the lipstick that she's wearing on the front grille. So this does look like a hot lap Dyson for Dyson now though, so he does look like he's pushing me in that second right-hander there. Managed to keep it in line, didn't manage to over-rotate. Very easy to do though when you get on the rubbers. Or as the ripple strip as I heard it called the other day, which made me laugh tremendously. And I think that's pretty much it as far as most of our drivers. So a couple of guys coming across the line now, but no change in the timing board it looks like. So this looks like it is going to be us for the day. So let's see where Dyson gets us. Okay, so that's no major improvement there. So going into race 1, season 2, we've got Linga Bazinga at the top of the grid with a 1 minute 12.5, which is a country mile ahead of everybody else. 0.9 of a second, nearly a full second in front of everybody else. So well done to that. To Linga for that. Snell and Bongo, again, his Dutch counterpart. These guys both race together quite frequently. He meets in second spot. So really looking like they've got their practice work done for this championship. Brucelaw then comes up in third spot with 1 minute 14, so not a million miles behind. Followed by Tibby. Well, this will be a new championship for Tibby. Tibby already jumping straight up there into fourth spot from qualifying. Followed by Dyson in fifth, Murphy in sixth, Jack Demenzies in seventh, and Immortalis in eighth place. And I expect that to be a very, very hotly contested battle throughout this race. Dirk Diggler then following up in ninth. Luke Snipes in his new car choice in 10th. We've got T. Scott in the Panos in 11th. Quiet Man, who nearly didn't make the race tonight actually, in 12th place. And CMC and Survivor rounding up in 13th and 14th. 15th with Alright Turkish, who fortunately didn't set a lap. So Alright Turkish, quite surprised at not setting a lap there. So as we go through into the race, the guys will get a couple of minutes just to get the setups sorted, get the tyres tweaked and the fuel pumped in, just to ready for the race. And remember, for this race it's 45 minutes as per usual. The weather is real-time weather, so for Sugo it was a mixture between cloudy and particularly overcast today, with a very small chance of rain. I don't believe we're going to get any rain scheduled during the race. So like I said, just coming over to our other races in our championships. If you are interested in Flux Motorsport and interested in getting involved in our driver championship and getting involved in our weekly action, or whether that's you just want to come along and do some of our daily community races where you can guarantee it's a lot cleaner of a lobby than your standard public lobbies, then do feel free to come on over to fluxmotorsport.com, hit the driver sign up button, have a little flick through for all the information. You can take a look at all the special events and prizes that we get involved in, and any of the good stuff and services that we've got on there. So just a minute or so left for the guys to just finalise the setups, just get things ticking over correctly. Fuel's going to be important in this one, not just for the amount of laps done, because it's quite a short track round here, but it is very high accelerating and very high braking, so it's a lot of harsh manoeuvres, tending to make the cars use a little bit more fuel, a little bit harder on the tyres. And then again, we've got the last corner, which is 110R, which is possibly the most difficult corner, one of the most difficult corners on any Japanese circuit, and trying to get the front left hand tyre to behave there. So okay, just getting under starter orders as we get on board with the guys at the start of the race, and we are underway. So that is off, and that's Turkish away from the back of the grid, getting a great start though. So he's jumped up 3 spots there. And going round in turn 1, it looks like we've got a couple of incidents. So Turkish there just getting involved with what looked like T. Scott and Tibby getting involved in some of the action there. Tibby dropping all the way back down to 14th spot there. Dear me, so that's unfortunate. A little bit of a taste of action in the turn 1, but try and keep with our leaders now. It's allowed Brucelaw to jump up into 1st place and Jack to get into 2nd place. So all change off the start. Linger has dropped back down to 3rd. And Snell and Bongo all the way down to 8th place now. So Brucelaw leading this one. And as we can see, just behind him there, that Toyota of Jack, and sandwiched with the 2 black Mercedes, and then the Toyota of Murphy just behind him. So as that is that Linger Bazinga going a little bit wide. There it is as Dyson comes through with the luminous lipstick on it, and doesn't quite manage to make it stick with what would have been around the outside. So potentially over rotating there just a touch. Linger getting the better of it as they come through 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 now, pretty much nose to tail through 110R into the last corner. And that has been a very eventful start there as Murphy goes off in the background there. I think that's Murphy, and that's a wall tag that looked really vicious there. And he looks like Dirk Diggler potentially. Yeah, I think that's Dirk Diggler, unfortunately, that's been involved in that issue. And again, going into the pit lanes, they're trying to get around each other, so calamities there, unfortunately. Take a little look on board with Tibby, whose front runners seem to have spaced out a little bit now. And that CMC in front going round a little bit there, so it's 2nd corner that he was struggling with there, but and going into the 3rd as the car's coming back on, he's coming back onto track, and that was a flash of the lights from what looked like T. Scott behind him. T. Scott's trying to say, please be careful when you're coming back on track, CMC. Just jump back over to 3rd spot. Linger Bazinga is still on the tail of Jack. It does look like Dyson's fallen back a little bit now. And Murphy saw just a little bit earlier with the spin there, but Linger Bazinga looking like he's potentially got the pace to outrun Jack here. As Bruce starts to scamper off now a little bit. And is this just what we had last season? Is it just a repeat of Brucelaw's usual tactics of don't qualify and just go out and race? So what you see Bruce running in qualifying is what you see him running in the race. But Linger certainly looked like he's making it hard work for Jack here. Just back over with CMC, Scott and Tibby here. So just to focus on it's Scott, which is in the white Ponos there, and CMC in the white Mercedes that's just in front. If that's getting confusing with both white cars. And Tibby coming behind, so Tibby looking like he wants to try and get the run on him now, and CMC going round a little bit. Of course, the commentator there potentially, and CMC dropping back all the way down to 10th place, 11th place now before he gains composure. And Tibby's trying to make it look around the outside, doesn't quite make it stick, isn't going to be able to do it there, coming onto the inside where the sausage is on the chicane section. And he's managed to drop back a little bit now. He's coming to High Point and Rainbow corner. And as we come into the back stretch, that's Quiet Man that looks like he's caught all the way up to the back of T. Scott now. So Quiet Man in the silver and orange Mercedes there. T. Scott holding him off well though, doing well for a new driver in this championship. Great to see him holding his own in this one. I'll stick with him here just to see what unfolds with this. See whether he can manage to keep Quiet Man behind him at bay. Quiet Man, we know he's quick, but is a little bit unprepared for this race. I do know that he's had some issues in the background. He's been struggling in order to get race prep done, and came in with just minutes to spare, ready for our qualifying session. And he does try and take a look down the inside there, but thinks better of it. And it's that Snell and Bongo that we see coming up behind. It is, so Snell and Bongo coming in at a race of knots now. And that Snell and Bongo was setting at least 2 seconds a lap quicker than these guys. So he's going to be looking to try and get past there, but this is not under blue flag conditions. He is fighting for place, so the guys won't have to move aside. As we just take a look back over at Dyson, sorry, it's Dyson and Jack here. Dyson in the black Mercedes, Jack in the red and white Toyota. So Dyson really giving it some stick now. It looks like Linger's made his way past into second place, which we did expect to happen. But Dyson now really making it struggle, and Jack, they're not able to get the front end on that Toyota, which again is an issue without having a front wing that's adjustable on that car. Makes it very difficult to try and get it to behave when you're going toe-to-toe with another driver into a corner and trying to get the car to outperform on the brakes. As Dyson looks down the inside, tries the manoeuvre, does make it stick, but then he's switched then to the outside for the third corner and doesn't make that one hold. As we come into this chicane section, up to high point, Toyota still in front, Dyson just behind him in the Mercedes though, and it is literally nose to tail driving, so no room for error here, and he does look to get a better exit, but we do know the Toyota's got more legs and probably will get the run down the back straight, as she is actually called on this circuit, the back straight, or back stretch as I say, into the horseback corner, which this one's called. So very banked the horseback corner. Bit too much camber on the car can really cause that to upset the cars. Back over to Quiet Man, Snarling Bongo and Scott now. Scott still managing to stay in front, but it does look like Tibby's got past. Scott still managing to stick it out for 7th though. And it looks like we've got some other guys that are fighting for position towards the back of the grid. Looks like Survivor and Dirty Diggler are potentially getting toe to toe, so whether that's for position or under blue flag because of the earlier pit stop they've had, I'll have to check the timing board and come back to you on that one. But Jack just pulling a little bit away from Dyson now, so is that a minor mistake that Dyson's made, and I think he's just starting to close that gap back up now, coming into through the second section. So that Mercedes looking like it's a little bit worse than the Toyota in sector 1. And Sterling Bongo again struggling, so performed really well in qualifying but really struggling with the Mercedes now. It does look like he's got a bit of front end damage on that, so I think he has managed to stay out and just persevered with that car. So just coming up to around about 8 minutes gone now, 37 minutes left in session, and just a quick rundown whilst we've got the first few laps out of the way. So Brucelaw currently sits out in pole position, leading our race with a 1:15 last lap on lap 7, and followed closely by Linger Bazinga, who was our pole position qualifying. Linger Bazinga looking like he's starting to close the gap up, so that's a 1.9 second gap, probably 2 seconds now that gap. Let's keep an eye on that gap between Linger and Brucelaw, 2 seconds now. Just behind him we've got Jack and Dyson, this battle for third that is hotly contested. I was expecting Jack to be battling, but did expect that to be with a couple of other drivers, potentially Immortalis, potentially Murphy, which he was initially at the start of the race, but Dyson's certainly making up for where those others are absent. Like I said, Dyson in 4th place, sticking with him. Maybe just sitting in the draft now, just trying to play the long game here, Dyson. But would you know it, Luke Snipes. We've not brought much to of Luke Snipes so far in this race in the blue and white Zipanol livery Mercedes CLK. Stuck in the same light coloured theme for his vehicle as he did the Porsche. Potentially maybe hoping that Porsche doesn't actually try and cotton on to the fact that he's changed car. I suspect, Luke, they will know. But yep, switched over to this one, and I must admit this is looking much better from our young driver. I don't think I've seen him spin once yet in qualifying or the race, so let's just hope that's something of the Porsche and something of the past. So Luke Snipes up into 5th place, 1:19 on his last lap, so it does look like he's being caught by Tibby behind him, and he's letting him just going off there just a little wide out of turn 1, and Tibby just directly behind him now, so this will be a battle for 5th and 6th place, and I believe we've got a battle just behind, so we've got 3 groups of 2 now on track, and they're starting to all close up a little bit here now. Sterling Bongo coming up from 8th place, closing up on T Scott. Tibby here closing up onto the back of Luke. Brucelaw looks like he's got involved in an accident. That must have been a spin from Brucelaw, so I suspect we'll see front end damage. Yeah, it looks like he's taking a scuff there. So Linga Bazinga's gone through. Jack has followed through, and it's dropped Bruce down to 4th. So Luke just following up behind Brucelaw now. This is a turn of events for Luke, I feel. But Tibby, I think, just getting past him there. So Luke, unfortunately, that would be a curse to the commentator. And we didn't catch the incident as it started, but we certainly did see him regaining composure there as he got back onto the track. And Tibby going just through in front of him. As we see Bruce coming in the pits. So it looks like already at this stage potentially we've got 1 or 2 cars being lapped out on track. So some of our back markers. Just to give you a quick run through our back markers, is from 9th place we've got Quiet Money, was just involved in that incident there on the outside of the last turn, and almost involved in an incident again there. So that did look like a tag from Turkish, but he did try and take all the speed off, and Quiet Man was on the outside line, so that's not a lot Turkish could have done with that though. Murphy dropped down to 11th spot, currently on a 1:23 in his last lap. So again, getting involved with the guys at the back, really not helping lap times here. Same can be said for Dirk Diggler, but Dirk managing to get a bit better on the lap time now, despite himself picking damage up there. So you can see the shattered headlights there at the front left. And Dirk coming through into that bank section. Doesn't look like he's rocking too much damage, Dirk. So hopefully he can try and regain a couple of spots now. And Survivor, like I said, caviar drive for Survivor this one. So not a regular driver, and he's decided to go for the McLaren. Lovely sounding car, that McLaren. And famous with that central driving position. But unfortunately not performing very well for him in the moment here. And CMC looking like he can get that again, just like last season. That Mercedes can be so quick, but when she bites him really hard. So just back over to our leaders, and currently we've just had Jack jump past Linga Bazinga, so this is a 3-way battle for the lead. We'll try and stay on board with this now, and let's see whether we can actually get some trackside camera footage on board with Dyson as he sits behind these two. So 110R is the first section of the corner, and then as it progresses it just turns into the final corner. Difficult in that panels to try and make make it stick. Mercedes doing a little bit better of a job though, and these that was really unfortunate. I think that was Jack there that was just trying to avoid somebody just coming in the pit road. That was an awful accident. That was such high speed. I do hope he's okay. It's shattered windscreen, but he does look like he's driving again, so not too concerning, but he will be wanting to pit after that. That didn't look like high impact. So that is going to be an absolute change again for our leaders. Looks like Linga Bazinga's out in front, Angler remaining in front, and Jackson struggled to catch back up with them now. So Tibby, I could see potentially even coming through to 3rd now. And Snelling Bongo does eventually make a pit. That's Snelling Bongo just coming out of the pits actually as it is now, which has allowed Dirk Diggler and Murphy to go through. And I think Turkish, is that just another accident there from Alright Turkish? Yeah, I think so. Alright Turkish, we're going around on the last corner. So unfortunately, looks like quite a few accidents here. The ripple strips really causing a few issues, I think, with over rotations. And I don't think anybody's safe no matter where you are on the track, as we see somebody else coming into the pits there and just limping home. And yeah, that Alright Turkish, which looks like he's been involved in at least 2 or 3 different incidents. None of them look like it is fault at this stage from Alright Turkish. I mean, very little he could do about that last incident on the final turn on the outside. Looks like Murphy's coming for a pit, and Jack Demens is in for a pit as well. So as we see, Alright Turkish already in the pits there. So 15 minutes gone, 30 minutes remaining. Quick rundown of our order. We've got Linga Bazinga in 1st place. Dyson in 2nd place, Tibby in 3rd place, Scott has now just moved up to 4th place, and Luke remaining in 5th. Brucelaw just about to have some toe-to-toe action with Luke though, just coming up within a second behind him in that overtaking range. As we see Bruce going round just again, there's some struggling to make the hards work I think round here. Quiet Man in 7th. Jack Demenz is just still getting repair damage, so it does look like he's just about to leave the pits though. Will he maintain that, or will that get taken off him by Dirt Diggler though? Nah, Survivor anyway, so Jack will maintain 8th place though. I think Dirt Diggler's quite a way behind. Snelling Bongo after his pit stop has dropped all the way back down to 10th place, so we'll be very disappointed with that after coming 2nd in qualifying. As our lead has just come up on the back markers at this point, so Linga Bazinga just flashing his lights there. Just asking Best Gamer or Survivor, as you may know him, to do the honourable thing as and when he comes up. But I think that was a little bit too much. That was well and truly out of the way. And Dyson following suit behind him. And was that a little bit of an off then from Linga Bazinga? I think it was. Just got a little bit squirrely going in front then. So you saw the kick up of dirt coming through just as he came through into High Point, but did manage to keep hold of it. So Brucelaw now coming up on the back of Luke Snipes. Is this? Yep, I'm 5th and 6th place. This is the battle for 5th place. Again, Luke looking like that car's pretty stable, maintaining a good track position. This might be a good move for Luke for this season. And I think that's potentially just a little bit of pressure there from the panels of Brucelaw, just forcing a mistake there from Luke. No contact, certainly not. But did look like he got a little bit nervous there as Bruce came up and passed him. And I think that is Scott that's just in front of him. So Bruce looking like Tibby's in the pit. So that is a track position made up for both Bruce and Luke. So that is Tibby coming in from 3rd spot, and that's pushing him all the way back down to 6th. So Bruce up to 4th now, and he will be looking for 3rd. So this would be back for a podium grab for Bruce. And he looks to go down the inside there as Scott goes a little bit on the grass, tries to get composure, leave space, and well done there for Bruce on the inside there, coming through into High Point corner. So good overtake. Let's see if Scott can stick in that slipstream and get him on the back stretch. And not this time. So both hard on the brakes here, but Bruce going very sideways into that turn. And Scott not managing to capitalise on that there. Might have seen another driver go down the inside and try and grab that then. But it looks like a little mistake there from Scott has let Bruce just get away through in those two fast sections there. Got another battle going out on track here. Looks like Murphy and Survivor. And Survivor just getting away, getting away from Murphy as he comes through. And that was for 12th place. Battle for what looks like it's, sorry, it was for 11th place. The battle for 9th place, going on just a little bit in front, maybe a minute or so in front of these guys actually, is Snelling Bongo and Dirt Diggler. So both these guys competitive, both of them can put a decent lap time in. I think they've just they've been in the walls a little bit in this race, and picked up a little bit of damage. So we've seen a drop back down the order, but these two sticking out here. I would have expected to see Snell and Bongo a little bit quicker than Dirt Diggler possibly, but again, damage related, that could see normal speeds and lap times impeded a little bit. As Quiet Man's in the pits, and that's him released, so that does look like a little bit of a damage repair there for Quiet Man, not just fuel and tyres. And Sterling Bongo does manage to make it through, so comes through on the last corner, on the inside of the last corner. Again, that panel's struggling there from Dirt Diggler. I know it does struggle with the understeer on the outside of that corner. Potentially just run away a little bit there, allowing Sterling Bongo to nip through on the inside. Great manoeuvre there from Sterling Bongo. So take a look back on board with our leader. 4-second gap now between Lingabizinga and Dyson, so increasing that gap a little bit, but certainly not out of the woods yet. Any one mistake could about 10 seconds, 7 to 10 seconds. A spin on Sugo will cost you. So that really is literally just one mistake, one spin. So certainly not in the bag at this stage. And is that Jack in front going off, or is that Murphy's just getting past? I think that might be the red and white livery of Murphy. Indeed it is. Murphy just doing the honourable thing there as he comes out. And is that Quiet Man back in the pits? Oh, that potentially has been a wrong set of tyres there for Quiet Man. He's going to be furious with his pit team. Oh, that's upsetting. No, it doesn't look like they've changed tyres, but potentially you can't tell necessarily on the camera footage here. It's not always as accurate. It did stop there for about 7 or 8 seconds, so that could have potentially been a tyre change. So Quiet Man leaves the pits, he comes out in 10th place. As we take a look on board at the other Toyota now, so, and again with a bit of a crumpled front end, is Jack Dementes, and I think it's that Lingabizinga that's just in front of him there that may have just lapped him as well. I believe it is. Jack currently put in 1:19s, again not a million miles away from the lap times he is capable of setting around here, but certainly a little bit slower and is impacted by that damage. As you can see, the front right corner of the Toyota taking some damage there. So Jack currently in 7th place. Again, Jack was more than capable last season. Would have performed better had he been able to be in attendance for every race. I think he missed race 2, which massively impacted his ability to gather all the points he needed. But yeah, would have been wanting a little bit better, I think, out of this race. As we see Dirt Diggler coming in the pits now. So Dirt Diggler in, that looks like it's fuel and tyres and damage, the full job lot. So it looks like the work's there for Dirt Diggler, and they will potentially keep him in for a little bit of time just whilst they get that sorted. So that's Sterling Bongo, that is up to 8th place. And Dirt Diggler back down to 9th. And Quiet Man splitting the difference between the two now. So I just wonder what happened there with that pit crew. Maybe we could try and talk to him after the race, or have a word with the pit team after the race. But very odd to see him there come into the pits one lap and then directly the lap afterwards. So we'll have to try and get the lowdown for you after the race or for the next time from Quiet Man to find out what that was. But it looks like we've got some action with Tibby and Luke here on track. So this will be coming up for 5th place. And we'll try and go on board here with Tibby, get you some in-car footage of this. Speed up so you can see what speed and gear he's in. Yeah, so he's trying to lock up, pulling Luke in from 5th spot. Clear the lap times, a couple of seconds difference in the lap times here for Tibby. So it's more than capable of doing this. It's just whether he can do it cleanly and whether he can do it without causing too much of an issue for himself with his tyres on making the car work too hard. As Luke, I think that was Luke actually giving him the position though. I think Luke realised that. I think potentially his team had come through on the radio and told him about that significant time difference, and it might be better to just sit through in his draft and follow his lines. Luke potentially playing the games, trying to catch up to Scott, who's the driver you see just in front of Tibby here, as we come into Rainbow corner out to High Point and onto the back stretch. So Panos does have a good amount of power. It's not the fastest car by any standard in this category. Much better in the corners than it does tend to be along the straights, but a lot of low down torque. And I think that Survivor that we just see going off and regaining track position there. Survivor getting a little bit of the kitty litter, and that is going to allow for Tibby to catch up to Scott, as we see Scott just running a little bit wide there in front. Luke doesn't look like he's managed to sit in the slipstream there. Does look like he's a few seconds back from Tibby, so Tibby looks like he's got in front of Luke and then made a run away with it, as we see Dyson in the pits there. That's Dyson in the pits, and Scott and Tibby may well come past as he's in the pits. It is that Scott and Tibby through and past. So is that damage related for Dyson, I wonder? Just as he comes out there, so not quite quick enough. Just quick enough to get in front of Luke, but not quite quick enough for the guys in front for Tibby and Scott. And Tibby looks like he's just made his move. Tibby in front, Scott sitting just behind. Albeit they have bunched back up together. But Scott now looking like he's having to really work hard to try and get the panels to do the same things that the Mercedes in front's doing. Just 18 minutes left to go in session here. Alright, Turkish and Survivor looks like they've made another pit stop. So back in for damage here, I think, with the guys at the back of the field. And Survivor just coming back out again. So on board with Brucelaw now, he's just made his way past Survivor. Bruce coming from 4th in qualifying, I believe it was, all the way up to 2nd now. So was 1st initially, but that earlier mistake and a bit of damage and pit stop, I think, has caused him to drop back down the order. 1:18's now putting in a decent lap time, but Tibby is putting in a quicker lap time behind him. I don't think it's enough though. I don't think there's enough minutes left in session for Tibby to make that up with the differences that they get in. Around about between half a second and 0.8 of a second. It's possible. It's possible. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But it looks like Jack started to make some moves as Luke goes round again there. So the unfortunately, the spinning does not look like it's limited only to the Porsche. But Luke won't be the only one that's spam around here, that's for sure today. So Sugo certainly claiming its victims. And Murphy comes in for a pit. I think that's the 2nd pit from Murphy. Survivor will actually go past Murphy now, I think, on the timing board. And if he manages to get around the track again in time. And Jack now just making his way past Luke up to 6th place. Looks like he's got the Toyota back on form, back with a 117 again, so we're going to see Jack catching up quickly to the back of Dyson in front. I think Dyson currently he's battling with Scott in front of the panels. So all these 3 guys now just coming through turn 1 and turn 2. Not actually named corners at Sugo, so turns 1, 2 and 3 are called the 1st, 2nd and 3rd corner, and then the hairpin curve they've just come through. So High Point, which is this corner, is named, and Rainbow corner, which is the next corner, as we see Dyson just trying to look through the inside there, not managing to make it work. Scott holding him off there, but looks like he has got a bit of a better run. So apologies. Yes, it is Dyson, yes. So T Scott there in the black and rainbow livery. 122 is his last lap. Sorry, T Scott there in the panels. My apologies, it was a back marker that he's just behind. So Scott there just going a little bit wider, and that does allow Dyson to go through. So that was Dyson behind Linga Bazinga, apologies. That was Linga Bazinga in front of him there. And then just behind him you see is Jack. So Jack really catching up to the back of Dyson here. 3 seconds difference, 117 and the 120, almost 3 seconds flat. We'll stay on board with this battle for what is a battle for 4th spot here, as Dyson runs a little wide and Jack runs a little bit too tight and gets the car to over rotate, but it does look like Jack's fared a little bit better from it. And is that Dyson trying to brake and let him past? I'm not sure that was braking to let him past or just stomping the brakes to try and get a bit of trail braking in. But the out and out speed of the Toyota though, almost getting him down the straight, but isn't able to get the run coming through into SP out, and then through for 110. 110 are, like I said, not too bad in the Mercedes, but cars that struggle with the front end like the Toyota and the Panos can really struggle on that corner. So Jack will be hoping for the downhill and the backstretch to really allow that Toyota. You saw that front end of the Toyota picking up there, something terribly. So yeah, without having a front wing, it really makes it difficult to try and get certain corners nailed correctly in the Toyota. Jack seeming to make it work though here for him at the moment. As they come out of S-shaped curve into High Point and Rainbow again. Still Dyson in front and Jack just behind him. But it looks like potentially, if they keep this up, there is a 10-second gap between these guys and Tibby in 3rd spot, as Jack does try and manoeuvre down the inside now and over rotates. He takes too much of the grass on the inside. That's allowed Dyson to stay in front in that corner, but he's certainly not done with him yet. I think it's just a matter of time this before Jack gets the right run that he needs. I think potentially though, it's going to take him a while if he keeps trying to make a manoeuvre on every corner, because the tyres are going to flat spot. And is that Luke in the pits? I believe that is Luke in the pits. It is indeed, so Luke Snipes in the pits as these guys just come past. So that was Luke Snipes, fortunately down to 9th place. I think that is Dirk Diglett that's just come past him. Jack and Dyson still going toe to toe here for 4th spot. So 117s and 118s, so potentially must have just been a mistake from Tibby on his previous lap. Back down to 117, which is a much more familiar lap time from Tibby. So they may maintain that gap. It may not be for a podium spot, it might just be for the glory. But neither of these drivers want to give this position up. 4th is still a lot of points in the standings. And that is just coming up to the back marker of Best Gamer in that familiar McLaren, that central driving position. And is this going to give Jack just the opportunity now just to try and close into a little bit? Nope, I don't think so. Survivor's got out of the way at a great point really for Dyson, but Jack does try and make it stick there, and he's got the inside into the S-shaped curves. And it doesn't look like he's got the run though coming into High Point. Outside is might be a better idea though here. He does, as Dyson just tucks him behind. Dyson looked like he got a better run then, just coming through Rainbow. So will he have the legs though by the time he knows? So Toyota just pulling away by the looks of it. But Jack's struggling on this corner normally, and I think that's Dyson just pushing too hard. So Jack hoping that he's through and he's done enough now to secure himself a 4th spot. Just take a look on board with our leader. So lap 10 as we'll come and give a onboard view. So this is on board as we go around with Linga Bazinga, and this is again, like I said, first turn, difficult corner, but second turn is the most difficult for over rotating. A CMC disconnects there and Immortalis, I think, unfortunately. And just coming then through into the S-shaped curves, so hairpin curve and S-shaped, and the sausage on the exit of S-shaped curve always difficult. High point corner not too difficult if you don't over push it, and then into Rainbow, which is actually a deeper apex than you think. A lot of people tend to run that one a little bit too early into the apex and go too wide into the grass. So flat out now, all the way down back stretch, looking for 5th gear, and hard on the brakes, all the way downhill, lots of weight behind the car, all that speed, trying to get that stopped. Through horseback into what's called SP in. So these are somewhat braking, somewhat let off corners, depending on your setup and how brave you are. Onto a little blip, and then a fast right-hander, and it depends how brave you can be through 110. On the initial part of the corner, coming through into the exit, depending on how much you want to cut your front left tyre, as Linga comes over for a 1 minute, in fact 1:18, so that's a little bit over what he was normally capable of, but still not a bad attempt at all for a flying lap. Well, Brucelaw though, currently setting the fastest lap last time, the 1:17.479. Brucelaw again, our championship winner last season, so already holds one title in the GT1s. And certainly he did look like he was potentially going to be halfway down the grid coming into this race, just before the end of qualifying session. Brucelaw now certainly back to usual tactics, working his way up the grid, grinding results out, which is what we're used to seeing from Bruce. A little bit slower that lap though, 1:18 that lap. And just as we switch to Tibby, not seen him for a little while, and at the point he goes off, he'd been putting 1:17.7s in, and then just as we switch over, Tibby goes off track a little bit. So unfortunately for Tibby, that is an uncharacteristic off for him though, but he's done a great job to get back from so far back down this grid. Terrible accident at the beginning of this race, managed to work so far back up to 3rd spot, so well done Tibby for that. Jack, who you seen been going toe-to-toe 4th and 5th place with Dyson. So Dirk currently in 6th spot in the black Panos. A few more Panos this time round this season, which I'm happy to see. Dirk's managed to work that way back up, managed to get it up back past Luke Snipes, who was currently holding 4th spot for a good while there. Sterling Bongo comes back in the pits. That is a third pit stop or 4th pit stop for Sterling Bongo. Believe that's pit stop number 3, but we will double check with him. And yeah, just as we mentioned, Luke in 7th place though. Luke currently putting 1:18s in, good decent lap times from Luke. Does require 2 or 3 pit stops to make those lap times though, so that needs to be sorted out. But if he can maintain 1:18s, then he can certainly do very well in this championship going forward. Scott there, another one of the guys in the Panos. This time the white Panos. Bit of an up and down race for Scott. Had some decent lap times, capable of getting in the 1:19s. 1:18s is potentially in qualifying, but just struggle a little bit here in the race to try and keep consistency, potentially trying to get defensive lines sorted, or just coming into 1 or 2 of the trickier understeery corners, playing up for Scott. Murphy managing to work his way back from 11th spot up to 9th now, so grinding laps out again. 1:18s from Murphy, so decent lap times coming in now. It's taken a few laps to get there, so consistency looks like he's having now. He does look like he's coming up on the back of Scott though now, so this is actually for position. Scott just in front. And who is that that's just in front of Scott? I think that's Dyson, so as Dyson picks up some damage, these guys actually looking to unlap themselves now from Dyson. And this is going to get a little bit awkward as we see Murphy behind there deciding that as he didn't want to take that chicane there, thought better of it, doesn't like the sausage. He's going to have to be careful with that because he will have got race director an infringement there. But Dyson certainly looking like he's picked up some damage though, as these guys all start to come around him. So as you said, Murphy behind and T Scott in front, and Dirk Diggler, which is the car that's confusing matters, I think that's also in the mix there. So Dirk Diggler currently putting a 119 lap and is getting looking to get unlapped here by Scott and Murphy. So Scott getting the job done and Murphy not quite getting it done. So let's see if he's got the legs to get it done here. And no, these guys are actually fully racing, so I don't think these guys want to give up any positions. And is that another car coming into the mix now? So yeah, no apologies, that's Dyson just there that we've overtaken. So Murphy and Dirk Diggler now going toe to toe really. Dirk's under no obligation to let Murphy aside. I mean, he's not actually currently under blue flag. However, Murphy will be infuriated trying to get past that car if he feels he's got the run. Just 3 minutes left in session. Take a look at Linga Bazinga. I think that's Jack behind him, so Jack will have been lapped, unfortunately. But we'll be trying to stick with Linga, just trying to benefit of that slipstream, maintaining the lines, just getting into the flow. As we know, Linga is very good at doing. So 119s from Linga on his last lap, taking his time, making sure he doesn't give away that 30-second lead. Is slowly but surely coming down, or had been slowly but surely coming down. And yep, to 28 seconds it is now. So Brucelaw currently sat in second place with 27 seconds now, so that is coming down. As we said, Jack in third and Tibby in fourth place. So Tibby's currently lap times are dropping down to a 120, so it does look like that Mercedes struggles after a few laps potentially. Maybe it's on soft tyres, and he's struggling after a few laps, but certainly capable of a 117. Dyson in 5th place, Dirk Diggler in 6th place. We've just seen these guys going toe to toe trying to get around each other and unlap each other. So where's Luke? Luke is just currently coming to SP in and SP out. There's that section in T2. 123 again, so consistency needs to be worked on, I think, from Luke here, but it is his first time out in that Mercedes. And it does look like a good selection, so would highly recommend that one for him. Scott there again, up and down race for Scott today. He's had some great drives, some great manoeuvres, but struggled to try and keep the front end in check, I think, of the panels. Seen him go off a couple of times into the kitty litter with a bit of understeer. Has led Murphy up to 9th spot though, and Murphy is still kind of sniffing at that 8th spot. He's not quite in the overtaking zone, so a couple of seconds away from Scott, who's in front. But we do have a bit of action on track with Jack and Tibby. So Jack again just shouldn't the exclamation mark on the timing board there, as excuse me, as we see Jack just starting to close into the back of Tibby there. Tibby in the silver Mercedes with the Mobile D2 livery on the side of it, and Tibby just sticking with Linga Bazinga there. These guys happy to sit with the leader and let him do the vast majority of the work, set the pace, and stick with him by the looks of things. So 40 odd seconds, so this will be the last lap now as Linga Bazinga comes across that line. So they have less than a minute or so. And is that Tibby going off? So is that Jack's through? That was an awful spin, so that is not the first time I've seen that happen. So just getting the rubbers and the tyres on the outside there will really really upset it, or conversely on the inside and getting it to over rotate and high side and bite you is just as bad. But yeah, that's really unfortunate there for Tibby with just the last lap of the race. Take a look on board with Murphy. So Murphy is catching up to the back of Scott now, and Murphy will want this. So this is a difference for 9th or 8th place for Scott and Murphy. Not getting a great exit there on the exit of Rainbow Corner as they come into backstretch. And that loop run, just reversing, getting out of the way. Thank you for that, Luke. Good awareness there. Murphy's going to try and take this run up in SP1, SP in, SP out, through into 110, and can he actually make it stick on this last corner? It depends on the exit that T Scott gets, as Linga Bazinga will have made it over the line. So that's a win for Linga Bazinga. And Brucelaw will be coming in 2nd place, but just on board with Murphy here as he comes across. No, so unfortunately Murphy did not make it across, so that's Linga Bazinga for the win. Brucelaw, who's still actually out on track, and I believe he will still be setting a lap. It does look like he's still driving that thing hard, but he will come in through in 2nd place, unless there's any major accidents. Yeah, Bruce in 2nd place, Jack in 3rd place, and Jack's already finished. Tibby already crossed the line as well. Tibby in 4th, Dyson in 5th spot, Dirt Diggler again in 6th spot, T Scott again that we've just seen with Murphy coming across the line there in 7th, and due to penalties I believe that Murphy got 8th, so Snarling Bongo then separates there, so we've got 9th and Snarling Bongo gets that difference there for 8th spot. Luke Snipes dropping all the way back down the order from 5th down to 10th spot. That's a shame to see. Survivor didn't do too badly though from a cameo drive for his first attempt out. He comes in 11th place. Alright Turkish in 12th. Difficult race for Alright Turkish though with all those accidents, and a couple of people got disconnected. So I think that's all we have for our GT1 race this evening. But what a race, what an absolute storming start, and a great drive there from Linga Bazinga, and a wonderful recovery drive there from Brucelaw. So if you enjoyed our GT1 race, don't hesitate to catch us again next week, Thursday at 8 PM UK time, every week. Our next race that we've got will be our Saturday LMP2 race, which comes again 8 PM on Saturday. So don't forget to tune in on our YouTube channel for that. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the bell notification to get the notification stuff about all our videos as per the usual. And always check out the website if you want to come and join us at FluxMotorsport.com. But from your host, Lecky2000, it's been a wonderful evening at Sportsland Sugo, Japan tonight from me. And I'm sure that all our drivers would thank you if they could as well. But make sure you tune in again next week. It's been great having you. Thanks very much. See you again.